Hebrews. This is Prophets of Awakening. This is our Sabbath class, the 16th of December, 2023. Okay, and the title in the for the class is "Are the Lord of Hosts, Hezekiah, and Civil War?" Right. So we're jumping off our clubhouse conversation from last night. Okay. You can go to our YouTube channel, Prophets of Awakening, for the people that don't know, and we have a lot of videos, and these videos will is packed with a lot of information to connect dots for anyone that's seeking the truth out and to better understand what's really going on in the scriptures in the Old Testament. If you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And if you feel a need to help the channel to move along, you can cash app us on the cash app at the bottom of the screen. Okay. We have some hours of operation, and they are Tuesdays. We have advanced Bible study, and it's for anybody that want to come in. That's on Tuesdays at from 8 to 10 Central Time, 2 hours. Then we come back on Wednesday. We have we do a lot of reading. It's reading through the Tanakh, reading through the Old Testament, and that's from 8 to 10 Central Time, 2 hours. And then we have our Women's Advanced Bible Study night on Prophets of Awakening. That's from 8 to 10 Central Time. And it's then we come back Friday nights when we on Clubhouse. We have a non-Messianic channel, non-Messianic conversations on Clubhouse. And that's where we the men engage. But you can come in and listen, but the men engage on men's night that night. Then we come back for Shabbat when we have a morning Sabbath class from 10 to 12 a.m. And then we come back and close the Shabbat out at 6. It's normally about an hour, a little over an hour, 6 o'clock Central Time. Okay, so with that being said, I want to say everybody that doesn't know, this is a non-Messianic channel, and we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to the Lord of Hosts, given to Moses by the Lord of Hosts. It consists of our way of life, our culture, how we supposed to conduct ourselves, what we eat, all that. It's tied to the Torah. Okay. Shalom and welcome to this channel. Okay, Prophets of Awakening, and welcome to our Shabbat class. So we're gonna go into we're gonna do our moment of silence. We'll read a prayer, Psalms, do some current events so we can stay current and a little need to know information. And then we'll go into we'll open up for some Q&A. Then we'll go into our topic, which is the Lord of Hosts, Hezekiah, and Civil War. So if you haven't tied your shoes up, you need to tie your shoes up. We're going all the way in on this one. So what we're going to do is this moment of silence, which is for the Lord of Hosts, our Redeemer, and Yahweh, our Creator, and all that they're doing, bringing about what has been prophesied to bring for us to be delivered from our oppressors. Oh Lord, we come before Thee at this hour on your day that you have given us for a rest on your Shabbat, praising you, honoring you because of your position both in heaven and on the earth, the position in which the Creator Yahweh have given unto Thee. And through your spirit and your counsel, oh Lord, we have awakened. We have awakened to know who we are as a people and who you are as our Savior and our Redeemer. And we are thankful for all that you have done, and we are eagerly searching out the scriptures that we may be in the right place at the right time upon your arrival or your return to this planet. Lord, I pray unto thee that you continue to let your light shine down upon us in spirit and truth. We love you. We seek you daily, O Lord. There is none else besides thee to redeem us. We see you in the affairs of the world, and we faithfully await your deliverance. Peace be unto you. Okay? So with that being said, I'm going to read the Psalms. Okay? Okay. Okay, I'm going to read Psalms. I'm going to read Psalms 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even mine enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war shall rise against me, in this will I be comforted. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that I will seek after, and that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secrets of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock. Okay? And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me. Answer me. When thou saidst, seek ye my face, my heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, I will seek. Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy service away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O Lord, of my salvation. When my father and my mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Teach me thy way, O Lord, and lead me in a plain path because of my enemies. Deliver me not over unto the will of my enemies, for false witnesses are risen up against me, and such as breathe out cruelty. I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Let's read verse 14 again. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Okay, so that was Psalms 27, and the title is The Lord is my light and my salvation. So the major point I got out of there was, we talked about this kind of a little bit last night in different situations. People say, yeah, this the lie of these Edomites, the powers that be, that no man has seen the Lord, right? Nobody has seen him, seen his face. So what David says right here, hear, O Lord, when I cry, hear, O Lord, when I cry with my voice. Have mercy also upon me and answer me. When thou shalt say, seek ye my face. See that? When thou shalt say, seek ye my face, this is David talking. My heart said unto thee, thy face, Lord, will I seek. Hide not thy face from me. So why would he say that if he ain't looking in his face? Hide not thy face far from me. Hide not thy face far from me. Put not thy servant away in anger. Thou hast been my help. Leave me not, neither forsake me, O God of my salvation. So let me give you an example of what David talking about. Like I said, it's literal. You can't subvert this off to some other understanding. So, in 2 Samuel right quick. Okay. Just 2 Samuel out of here. 2 Samuel chapter 7. see if what David just said in the song is being applied right. Okay, so it's in 2 Samuel chapter 7, David talked to Nathan about building the Lord a temple. Because the Lord told him to go tell David that Solomon was gonna build a temple because he had blood on his hands, so he wanted Solomon to build a temple. So he talked to Nathan, conferred with David, and then he took David to the temple where the Lord was at, right? So we're gonna see verse 17. 2 Samuel 7, verse 17. According to all these words and according to all this vision, so did Nathan speak to David. Then verse 18. Then went King David in and sat before the Lord. And he said, who am I, O Lord God, and what is my house that thou hast brought me here to? So this ain't the Wizard of Oz when the lion and the Tin Man went into the building where Oz said he's hiding behind the curtain. I'm gonna read 18 again. Let's see if the Lord hide behind the curtain. It says, then when King David in, sat before the Lord, and he said, who am I, O Lord God, and what is my house that thou hast brought me here to? Sound like to me, he's sitting right in his face, talking to him. He went in and sat down. Okay, let that firmate. Anybody have any questions or comments on that? Okay, let's keep moving. Okay, so we'll do some current events.
It's no surprise that Congress approved the largest military budget ever and the largest in the world. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. Every year on this show, we tell you we are shocked and scandalized by it, but it gets bigger anyway. The House passed it weeks ago, and now the Senate passed it for sure. President Biden will pass it. So let's just take a quick look at the numbers and see what made it in and what made it out. This is the 2024 defense budget. It totals $886 billion.
That's on paper, by the way. Like,
yes.
What's the hundreds of billions that they don't tell you about the off the books information?
Good point. Right? This is 3% bigger from last year. And recall that the White House originally only asked for only.
So let's look at that. So we keep on. We see that we finally started waking up. Most High poured the Spirit out on us. While we started waking up, but before that, we already saw the wealth gap between those people and us, right? It's right here in your face. This is how they get all the money they got. It was right here with our money that they allocating out to the Senate, to the Republicans and the Democrats. This is how they get all the money right here. But the thing I want you to shine light on as we go further into this Sabbath class is the amount of money they're dealing with when it comes to warmongering and wars. It's the only way these people survive. It's through wars, right? And never forget the curse that he put on Cain. Okay, when it comes to this.
Asked for $842 billion, but Congress just tacked on a little more for Ukraine, plus an extra $37 billion to modernize U.S. nuclear capabilities. We're going to look at the nuclear bit a little bit closer, but let's just first put this in some context. China this year approved a 7.2% increase to their defense budget, but even with that increase, they're still only at $224 billion per year on military spending. How, you might ask, and I wonder this too, I don't have an answer to this question. How does the world's largest military with over 2 million enrolled members, how do they spend a quarter of what the US spends? Just think about it. This is it's an existential question, if you will.
Well, when you have massively inflated prices and you have a private sector that literally charges through the nose for these weapons, when you have state manufacturing of weapons, it's a totally different animal.
Yes.
In your own country.
Right.
When you have state mobilization of your military, it's far cheaper. And it's going to cost. We're going to charge you $45 million for this aircraft.
Yeah.
In the United States.
Right. We've seen inflated prices for screws,
yeah.
for software updates, things like that. You're right. Even CBS News 60 Minutes covered that. Now, I want to show you this data. It comes from the Stockholm International Peace Research Institute, but some nice user laid it out in this graphic that I liked on Wikipedia. Almost all of the world's military spending comes from the West. The United States makes up a large portion of it, but here at the bottom it says other NATO, as if the United States is not also paying into that. So I would say
other NATO.
For the United States, we're paying for about 90% of everything you see there that is blue. And then look at the rest of the world. It's like this. Now, are we winning with all of that military spending? I leave that to you. So
winning what? Right? Like, what are we exactly winning?
Right.
Russia has literally beaten. Yeah, I guess profits. Yeah, they've literally beaten NATO. I mean, all of NATO has funneled all of these weapons into Ukraine, and Russia has beat all of them. So what exactly are they winning right now? It's a good question.
Right. Okay. So again, we told you about how China is increasing 7% and still keeping their numbers down. We're in debt. If we could just take the 2-shot here. We have this debt clock.
Yeah.
And so even with all of this debt, we are A-okay to increase our budget for a smaller military. Do those numbers make sense to you? Just, now, remember last year when we warned you that we could get close to a $1 trillion per year defense bill? We're almost there, right? Last year, we were absolutely scandalized that the budget was $847 billion. And that was $45 billion more than that administration had even asked. So here we go. They just keep saying, take more, we need it. Now, in July, when this spending package was proposed, we looked at some of the things that we thought, that's weird. Why is that in there? What's tucked into there? Now, back in July, the original HR 2670, which is the final military spending package, was 1,236 pages. The final bill that was voted on by the Senate, which will most likely be signed by the president, is twice that almost. It's 2,330 pages.
Senator Mike Lee tweeted a picture of this, them carting the giant bill into the Senate, into the Capitol building. They had to use a hand truck, massive hand truck, in order to push all of the boxes of this bill.
Yeah.
None of them are going to read this bill.
No.
None of them. Do you think President Biden is going to read?
Okay, so you see all the money that's being allocated. It started off back with the Ukraine war, even before that. But you see all the money that's being allocated all over the place. So let's go to the scriptures. And it says that it's a woman, a whore, that's in the last days controlling the beast. The woman is on the beast, controlling the beast. I showed you who the woman was. It's not a real woman. The Most High, Lord of Hosts, is married to Israel. We know who Israel is. That's the woman he married to, but it's a fake woman that's posing as this woman. That's the promiscuous woman that's riding on this beast. And he just told you about the West. All this warmongering and all this is coming from the West. And if you follow the story that Daniel gave us about the 4 beasts being diverse, the 10 toes is that the 4 beasts transform itself. He learned how to relocate rather than stay in one place like the first 3, come up and fall. That's what happened to Babylon, Medes and Persians, and Greece. They rose and fell in the same location, but the 4 beasts, which is Esau, he's luminized. Like I said, he was raised by Abraham. He got the knowledge of the Melchizedek and all that in him, because he got it from Abraham. So he's able to figure out how to relocate, rising when he sees himself falling, he pack all his bags and move somewhere else. And so all these 10 kings, they all in the West. We started with Charlemagne. From Charlemagne, it went to Italy, and to France, and then Great Britain. Then we know the story from there. They branched off from there and came to America with the 13 colonies, and then here we are with America. But we're looking at the last transformation of this fourth beast, which is China. So, but how he operating this war, and that's how he getting all his money. That's how he saw the Rothschilds and all them got all their money through war, using mercenary soldiers and all that. So we see all this money I just showed you that's being allocated. So what's going on with it? Well, let's go to the next video. Okay. They're always talking about the bag. Okay.
I've been terrorized all my day. All my day.
The Palestinians are human laboratory rats to the Israeli military intelligence services and arms and technology industries. Israel's drones, surveillance technology, including spyware, facial recognition software, and biometric gathering infrastructure, along with smart fences, experimental bombs, AI-controlled machine guns, are all tried out on a captive population in Gaza, often with lethal results. These weapons and technologies are then certified as...
So those are laboratories, what they did over in Iraq, what they do in Palestine. They testing these weapons that they selling, these big old war machines, where they selling the money to get the money. America, which is the beast that the whole riding on, issuing the money out for them to do it. Mad system going on. And we sitting back, fumbling with it. Okay, check it out.
Quote, battle tested and sold around the world.
They got to test these weapons.
Israel is the 10th largest arms dealer on the planet.
Come on.
It sells its technology and weapons to an estimated 130 nations, including military dictatorships in Asia and Latin America. Israeli weapons sales totaled $12.5 billion last year. Its close relationship with these military internal security, surveillance, intelligence gathering, and law enforcement agencies explains the fulsome support Israel's allies give to its genocidal campaign in Gaza. When Colombian President Gustavo Petro refused to condemn the October 7th attack by Palestinian resistance groups as a terrorist attack and said, quote, terrorism is killing innocent children in Palestine, Israel immediately halted all sales of defense and security equipment to Colombia. This global cabal, dedicated to permanent war and keeping its populations monitored and controlled, has hundreds of billions of dollars a year in sales. These technologies are cementing into place a supranational corporate totalitarianism, a world where populations are enslaved in ways that past totalitarian regimes could only imagine. It is not a far cry from Gaza to the camps and detention centers set up for migrants fleeing to Europe from Africa and the Middle East. It is not a far cry from the carpet bombing in Gaza to the endless wars in the Middle East and the global South. It is not a far cry from the anti-terrorism laws used to criminalize dissent in Israel to the anti-terrorism laws introduced in Europe and the United States. Joining me to discuss this use of Palestinians as human guinea pigs for the Israeli weapons and technology industry is Anthony Lowenstein, author of The Palestine Laboratory, How Israel Exports the Technology of Occupation Around the World. So your book, which is a great read, lays out this the rise of this arms industry, which originally was a state industry and then privatized. One of the points you made at the end of the book, which is kind of fascinating, is how much of the apparatus to keep the Palestinians under control is essentially now handed over to private firms. And I just want to quote Elliot Abrams, who I've interviewed. The role of Israel is to serve as a model, an example in military might and innovation, in encouraging childbirth. And I think this is one of the themes of your book, that much of Israel's support and power derives from its connection to this global arms network. So let's just lay out some of the innovations that Israel has pioneered. We can begin with Pegasus, because they are at the forefront, and drones. I mean, they are at the forefront of some of the most advanced technologies and weapon systems that are used to control subject populations.
You know, in some ways, the genesis of the book was partly due to some of the reporting around Pegasus. A few years ago, listeners or viewers will be aware that Pegasus obviously is a spyware tool that is made by NSO Group, which is an Israeli company. And it was started to be used about 15 or so years ago by a range of countries. And in fact, the country that it was first mostly used in was Mexico, as various governments there were desperate to fight a failed drug war, and of course it only made the violence worse. But what's interesting back then and also now is Mexico remains, to this day, the world's biggest and most obsessive user of Pegasus. Obsessed, whether it's the right-wing government or nominally left-wing government. But Pegasus is now in dozens of countries. I don't even know how many, I think about 70, 80 or 90. And in some ways, the reason I partly wrote the book was to say that the media was obsessed with Pegasus, and Pegasus is an important investigation. It's a tool that is put on phones of activists and human rights workers in countless countries, and it breaches human rights. Obviously, that's terrible. But the problem was that it was too often framed as this rogue Israeli company doing terrible things. When, as I show in the book, as you know, it's not that. It's essentially an arm of the state, as Lockheed Martin and Raytheon are arms of the US government. Now, Lockheed Martin's a private company, it has a board, sure, and it makes profits or not. But essentially it's an arm of the state, right? It's used by the government in various foreign policy agendas or goals. Pegasus is exactly the same. And I started looking at that issue about saying that now probably Israel is number 1 or 2 in the world for spyware. And in fact, Pegasus and NSO Group in some way really is a smokescreen, because there are so many other companies that are doing exactly the same thing. So if NSO Group goes bust tomorrow, and it's in a bit of financial trouble at the moment, it's not going to make any difference, because there are so many other companies doing exactly the same thing, using that whole allure of being able to spy on pretty much anybody, which is why to this day, no country wants to regulate this. There's no country, because they're all obsessed with it. That's been the fundamental problem at the moment. Explain.
Okay, so I'm hoping you're starting to get the picture. Anybody have any comments so far? Okay, so I'm doing some need to know information. This is where it started to get ugly at, right? So this is the need to know information. And like I said, I'm bouncing off of last night. And if you haven't seen the movie yet, Leave the World Behind, that the Obamas are behind is funding it and participating in it, part of it, you need to watch it, because it's like a warning. So with that being said, this is my need to know information right here. Okay. So let me let it come up here so I can deal with it. So it's it says all 17 movies and TV shows produced by Barack and Michelle Obama, including Leave Behind, right? So let's go on. It's crazy, man. So the name of the production company is Higher Ground, which is they own it, they operate it, and they control it. Higher Ground delivers international and impactful entertainment that fosters empathy, understanding, and social change. So don't forget how this class started, about these arms, these weapons, and all this, and money. So The company spans various genres and themes, showcasing the commitment of broad and inclusive range of stories. Higher Ground Productions, including documentaries and children's shows accessible to Netflix and other diverse and informative content for all audiences, right? Okay, we'll keep going. This over the past few years, Barack and Michelle Obama have made a seamless transition from political powerhouses to influential figures in the entertainment industry through their production company, Higher Ground, which has already released 17 projects. And this where I talked to a couple of people about it, and I brought it up on Prophet's Awakening. Maynard, the guy Maynard, the one that was behind Malcolm X, that made all the speeches behind Martin Luther King, where he was gay, and then he had, they was having problems with him pertaining to him and white males. He was turning all of them out. He was a beast. So anyway, it says founded in 2018, and so anyway, before I get off of that, like I was saying, what person, Israelite, gonna name his damn son Cain? You're gonna do a double take. You see a Negro walking around his name Cain. You're gonna say, what the hell? There's something wrong. So who in the hell want to make a movie on Maynard Rustin? Unless you're admiring him. And when I saw it, I said, what the hell? I didn't know all this right here, what I'm showing you. So it says, Higher Ground has already released 17 projects, founded in 2018. Higher Ground was created with the mission of entertaining, informing, inspiring artists of all ages. It also has a central focus on elevating news and diverse voices within the entertainment space, which is evident to each of the projects. And you're probably gonna want to go check these out now that you're being informed. Each movie and television show to come out of the studio feels international with its characters and storylines, as they demonstrate a profound dedication to fostering empathy, understanding, and social change. So keep going. See what further sets Higher Ground apart is how it is filmography spans numerous genres and themes, which is a clear reflection of Obama's stated commitment to the broad and inclusive range of stories. The company's lineup includes everything from powerful documentaries that shed light on the most pressing social issues to children's shows designed to inspire the new generation of audiences. As the company continues to produce powerful pieces of entertainment, it becomes more and more clear that Higher Ground is not just a post-presidential pastime, but rather a deliberate and impactful endeavor. Go back again, read that. Higher Ground is not just a post-presidential pastime, but rather a deliberate and impactful endeavor. So here we go. Here go all the Higher Ground productions. All the Higher Ground productions are available, streamed on Netflix. Okay. Got American Symphony. Okay. Released in November 23, American Symphony is a beautiful documentary about a musician in the process of composing a symphony. His life is sent in an unexpected direction, though, when he discovers that his life partner, who his life partner is, who is an author, has been re-diagnosed with cancer. The film masterfully weaves the two artists' stories together and portrays a breathtaking example of true love, according to the Hollywood Reporter. Michelle Obama describes the project as a testament to the powerful and inevitability of music, but it also so much more than the story of one man's triumph. Instead, at its core, it is a story of two souls, parallel paths. So, like I was saying before, go back to he the author behind passing all the bills when it comes to transgender and all that. Obama is. So when you say it's hard to figure out what the movie about, these partners here. So now we get to leave behind. A Thrilling Drum, leave the world behind. A Thrilling Drummer, Leave the World Behind is one of the higher ground's most successful projects thus far. It came out in November 2023 and debuted as #1 on Netflix global charts. The film is based on Ruman's Alman's 2020 novel of the same name and follows two families whose lives become connected after a blackout becomes catastrophic. So back to the other one, there's two people in the movie Symphony, but we know they two men. Okay, and right here is two families, right? One of them black, one of them white. Okay, ain't hard to figure out where they're going with this. So anyway, you got another movie. This is what I'm talking about. I didn't know this. Rustin. This is Maynard Rustin. They made a movie about him. And like I said, the average black person don't even know who the hell this dude is. But they do. And the white folks know who he is. So we said Stanford reserves a house for a quick gateway, but this plan changes after there's a massive cyber attack and homeowners, I'm still on the lead the world behind. So Rustin was released as a Netflix in November 2023 and is an informative biopic about Bayard Rustin, who was an advisor to Martin Luther King Jr., who was extremely important and influential in the quest for racial equality and human rights, but his contributions were unfairly erased from the civil rights movement because he was an openly gay black man. In 2013, President Obama awarded Rustin with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. He shares with CBS Sunday Morning that the reason the studio was interested in the story was because it serves as a reminder that the fight for justice typically is not just about one individual group of people, but instead is often in tandem. So we see he putting all the emphasis on this, everything that the Most High the Creator said in all our statutes and judgments. You put a twist on it. The author behind it. This how. Then you ask yourself, go back to Hitler, right? We come to find out all these companies that we know in America, DuPont and Westinghouse, Oppenheimer, all these companies funded Hitler. So you think it's a coincidence Netflix picked him up? They all working in concert. Okay? So anyway, to more of the movies, to push their agenda. Here goes another one, Working What We Do All Day. And The Light We Carry, Michelle Obama and Oprah Winfrey. These ain't nothing but dissidents, waffles. The God Word with Adam. I can't spell. I can't see that name. Conover. Okay, we people, we just some of fatherhood. So anyway, so we're gonna get back to leave the world behind, right? So when you understand now what they're doing, they're using him to do all this, right? So before I go into this next phase, I'll open it up for some questions. Anybody have any questions, comments, or anything want to share some information, dialogue? Everybody good? Okay, so I talked to everybody about a month or so ago about the president, the plan for the Republicans that have for 2024, 2025. Their plans is they wanted Trump to be the person. So they want to, in 2024, they want to do, we already see them working on it with Ron DeSantis and all this critical race theory, changing the history of, because they see how we are waking up, doing our research. They used to have the stigma on us that just put it in a book. You can put $5 million in a book, a Negro would never get it. because he ain't gonna never open the book up. Well, that hasn't changed because the Creator poured out His Spirit on us. So we was our forefathers carried books everywhere they went. They wrote books and they carried them. So we back to that. We're doing our research, researching out the scriptures, and so they trying to cyborg that. They got this agenda. They see us rising. In Isaiah 60, we see us rising. That was already prophesied. So Republicans got this they call Project 2025. We talked about that. So they want to bring this this man on win the election. Once the election is won, they want to go into a massive plan to just wipe us out as a, wipe out what's going on, this woke thing, all that. They want to wipe all that out. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of that. Then we go to what Trump plans is. He tells himself what his plans is once he get back in the White House. So let me play this one first. Okay, this is what the Republican Party want to do right here.
There's this big New York Times story today, big story, very important story, about how the leading Republican presidential candidate, Donald Trump, and Republicans more broadly, have this plan that they want to put in place if the Republican Party wins the presidency in 2024. They're calling it Project 2025 because this is a plan that's supposed to go into effect upon the inauguration of Donald Trump in 2025. Either Trump or some other Republican president gets inaugurated in January of 2025, and Project 2025 thereby goes into effect. This plan is being coordinated by a right-wing think tank called the Heritage Foundation, and it is a plan to radically change.
So, like I was saying, it's nothing new under the sun. We know all the powers that be, all the CEOs, all the big corporations back in the day during Hitler time funded Hitler. Ain't nothing new, ain't nothing under the sun. They funding this dude. Same thing. Look at all of a sudden how easy the black people can be manipulated. They are all fleeing from the Democratic Party because they're being manipulated. Okay, watch this.
It's the form of governance that we have in the United States, so as to concentrate all of the power of the government in the hands of a single leader. Quote, our current executive branch was conceived of by liberals. What's necessary is a complete system overhaul. Quote, what we're trying to do is identify the pockets of independence inside the US government and seize them. Seize them, so there won't be any more pockets of independent power outside the power that is held by the president. Now, as I said, they want this to be Donald Trump. They want him to be the guy in whose hands all this power is concentrated. But they say they would plan to do this with any Republican president. The plan is to change the structure of the US government so the next president, the next Republican president, will take direct control of all state power. He would, for example, take over all federal law enforcement and run that directly for his own benefit through the DOJ. There would be no more independence of federal law enforcement. The next president would take control of private business in this country for his own benefit through the powers of the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission. The next president would revive an old and, I should say, illegal practice called impoundment, which would basically take away the fundamental powers of Congress and put that power, too, in Trump's hands. Again, identify the pockets of independence and seize them. So instead of checks and balances and limited government, we'd have more of a strongman system of government. We'd have a single leader with all the power of the state personally arrogated to him.
Like I said, this ain't nothing new. They did it with Hitler. They did it with Napoleon. And it went awry. So then they had to, because they control the military industrial complex, they sent all the armies together and cut Napoleon off at Waterloo. And they got us reading in the Bible, reading in the history like it's some kind of big time event, but they had to cut him off. They got all the armies because they control him, and they cut him off at Waterloo and knocked him off. Same thing with Hitler. So this ain't nothing new. What you see transforming itself now, they got control of all the sources, Hollywood, everything, and they bringing it to pass. That's how he ended up with this. Him and Michelle Obama with this company they got, High Ground. It's all part of the plan. Say, keep in mind, Obama a Democrat, but these Republicans got this plan. Just taking us to the movie. You're still dealing with the movie, okay?
No other part of the government, no other thing in the country at all would be allowed to constrain him. That sounds nice. It at least sounds simple. That said, it is obviously fundamentally opposite to the whole idea of why we exist as a country in the first place. And I think it's no surprise to see an article like this, to see reporting like this in the Times today. I think everybody sort of knows that this is where the American political right, where the Republican Party has been heading in the Trump era.
Yeah, you already bum rushed the White House. Shouldn't be surprised. So now this is what Trump plans is right here. He lay out his plan. Here we go.
And here are just some of what we will do when we become the 47th president of the United States. Before I even arrive at the Oval Office, shortly after I win the presidency, I will have the horrible war between Russia and Ukraine settled. Look, that's a war that would have never taken place. Putin would have never done it, It'll be done very quickly. The United States must also build a state-of-the-art missile defense shield. Look, we got to have a missile defense shield. We got all these maniacs in all these countries, not only countries, big countries where you can talk and, they have a...
So, what are you talking about? Israel got the Iron Dome. So he said he's going to bring an Iron Dome to America. Well, Israel catching hell over there with the Iron Dome. They're getting bombarded and bombed and missiles every day. So if you bring one over here, that must be what you expected. Okay, check it out.
A lot to lose also, but you have people getting nuclear missiles. I wanted to stop that. We had it stopped with Iran. We have to have a shield. I want to build a shield around our country. And these shields work. Frankly, if Israel didn't have a shield, you wouldn't have Israel today. You wouldn't have, they stop thousands of rockets a week. But we have to build a much more sophisticated shield, and it's going to be made right here in the USA, so it's not all bad. And a lot of it's going to be made in New Hampshire. A lot of it's made in New Hampshire. We have a nice big shield. And for years, American taxpayers have bankrolled space-age missile defense systems to protect foreign nations. We do these incredible things, and we give it to foreign nations. We have very little ammunition now. How about Biden?
Okay.
Gentlemen over 40, let me introduce you to a game changer.
Have a problem. We have very little ammunition. Can you imagine? Let's assume that's true. It is true. But who would say that? We don't say that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have communist China and we have Russia that hate us. I want to say right now we have very little ammunition. He actually said we have very little. Even if it's true, number one, we shouldn't have been in that position. But we have given so much ammunition to other countries, in particular Ukraine. We don't have any ammunition. These people, well, it's like the guy I told you about. Well, you'll be making a lot of our ammunition. We had so much ammunition, we were blowing it into warehouses. We were taking warehouses all over the country, storing our ammunition. We had so much ammunition, and now we have very little, just like in the strategic reserves. We have very little gas. Under my leadership, we will once again protect our own people with our own missile defense system capable of blasting China, Russia, Iranian missiles out of the sky. And we will, in addition, have offensive weapons that will be second to none. We have the greatest weaponry. We have the best people. You know, Russia stole the super, we call them the super dupers, right? They go super fast. They stole that during the Obama administration. They stole the plans. It was all very highly classified. They stole the plans and they built it. Americans deserve an Iron Dome, and that's what we're going to have. We're going to have an Iron Dome around our country. And we'll save a fortune because a lot of countries that we protect, number one, they can't stand us. Number two, they don't deserve protection. The money we waste is incredible. I will end Joe Biden's inflation disaster, and we will quickly rebuild the greatest economy in the history of the world. Very quickly. It's going to go fast. Get ready. And unlike the sanctimonious who voted to gut Medicare and Social Security and voted 3 times to raise the retirement age to 70, I will always protect Medicare and Social Security for our great seniors. We're not going to be raising ages like you. We have so many other things we could do, like, as an example, utilize what's under our feet, liquid gold. We're going to make so much money with our liquid gold. We were all set. We were starting to do it. We were energy independent. Within 6 months, we were going to be energy dominant all over the world. And this guy stopped it. On day one, I will repeal Joe Biden's insane electric vehicle mandate. Everybody has to have an electric vehicle. Under a Trump administration, gasoline-powered engines will be allowed, but child sexual mutilation will be banned. Can you imagine having to say that? Now, can you imagine having to say it? It would have happened. President Xi would have never done it. Kim Jong-un of North Korea, his tremendous nuclear capability. Everybody felt safe when I was president. I got along with him. I got along with him. You would have had a nuclear war if crooked Hillary was there. You would have had a nuclear war, the likes of which you've never seen. And by the way, he's getting very anxious again. He thinks Biden is a total, I won't tell you the word he used, but a very bad word. And you better be careful. And we would have left Afghanistan with dignity and strength instead of the greatest embarrassment in our history. I think it was the most embarrassing moment in the history of the United States. And you notice the way the fake news never talks about it anymore. They don't want to talk about it. If you took the 10 worst presidents, I used to say 5, remember? All right? Front row Joe remembers it was always 5, right? I've made it 10. Do you agree? I think I could probably make it 20. I think I could make it 20. If you took the 10 worst presidents in the history of the United States and added them up, they would not have done near the destruction to our country as Joe Biden and the Biden administration have done. I mean, look at what he's done with inflation, with the economy, with Israel, with everything, with Ukraine. We're a failing nation. Remember what Viktor Orban said, bring Trump back, everything will be good.
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody got a question so far? Okay, so now we're back to the movie, right? This is how the movie ended. I want you to check out this scene. Based on everything I showed you. He just told us in simple words that we vulnerable, we weak. Because land on ammunition, we need to iron down, okay? Here we go.
Need to know that you're on the level with me. No matter how far this thing goes, I need to know that we're good. Because if what just happened here is happening everywhere, we need to get to that bunker Danny told us about, and we need to get there now. What are you talking about? You know something. I have a sneaking suspicion, but I want more information first. All sides were there, sure, but I didn't want to scare anyone. You would call me crazy because it is crazy. It would have made more sense if we were on the brink of an all-out invasion. But this, I didn't think we'd actually let something like this happen. I thought we were smarter than that. But why not? Because my primary client works in the defense sector. I spent a lot of time studying the cost-benefit analysis of military campaigns. There was one program in particular that terrified my client the most. A simple 3-stage maneuver that could topple a country's government within. First stage was isolation. Disable their communication and transportation.
Blackout.
Make the target as deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible. Set them up for the second stage. Synchronized chaos. Terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation. Overwhelming their defense capabilities, leaving their weapon systems vulnerable to extremists in our own military. Without a clear enemy or motive, people would start turning on each other. Unsuccessfully, the third stage would happen on its own. What's the third stage? Coup d'etat. Civil war. Collapse. This program was considered the most cost-effective way to destabilize the country. Because if the target nation was dysfunctional enough, it would, in essence, do the work for you. Whoever started this wants us to finish it.
Okay, so that's how the movie ended. The Civil War was coming. That's how it went on. So what's Civil War? Is we know what happened when the North and the South got into it, and all the people that died. But the thing about it is, our Redeemer. That's his #1 characteristic. We turn people in against each other. That's how we got freed from Egypt. That's how we got freed from civil. Well, we didn't get freed, but we got relief from these oppressive people here in America. Was he brought about the Civil War. Right after the Civil War was when the Emancipation Proclamation took place. But like I was showing you, they operating not. They didn't gave us JC, but they operating off the characteristics of our God, our Redeemer. They gave us a fictitious Redeemer, but everything they're doing is according to what our Redeemer doing. So, in order to cut off what we're looking at in Isaiah chapter 44, 1-5, we see Israel rising. This is what they're getting ready to do. Cause a civil war here in the United States. The first thing to do is, like the brother says, 3 phases. 3 phases to it. First, you got to cut off all the normality that's going on by a blackout. And then when you cut the blackout start, that's when people start turning in against each other. And what's the first thing gonna happen? Racial tensions, blacks and whites. That's why you got a black family and a white family in this movie. But you got to go back and look at Obama, the one made it, but he a Democrat. But I just showed you what the Republicans plan they got. Trump told you what the plan is. But he's a Democrat and he made this. And it's all lining up. So anyway, this movie ended with a civil war. And if you know anything about it, if you've been paying attention, they got a movie premiering to come out now. That's a sequel to this called Civil War. So with that being said, anybody got any comments? Anything they want to say, add to that? Okay, so this is going to lead us right into the topic of this discussion, which is the Lord of Hosts, Hezekiah, and Civil War, right? So you say, what you talking about? Let's go look at what happened during the time of Hezekiah. 2 Kings, right? 2 Kings. So this is what the movie and all this. It's a warning. You know, it's not. The movie that scene I just played, it ain't talking to everybody. You're a nut bucket. You're not hearing what the man's saying. But so anyway, so it's not about staying on the road or the path that you own. He just told you all fucking hell, excuse my expression, all hell gonna break loose. So you can't continue to going down the same road with thinking the same things that it was. It's gonna shit down. So it's of the utmost importance to watch the movie. Don't take my word for it. Watch the movie and all the things that's been talked about, and it's all through the movie. The people they building underground bunkers in their houses. Nobody know they had the money to do that. Bring a crew in, build it. Nobody even know they're doing it. And they mention that in the movie. Then they show you all the preparations all the people got. The rich folks in these houses. And know what's going to happen. Trump just tell you he want to iron down. Come on. So, and like I said before, it ain't gonna go in no other direction. It's gonna go in the direction where they're showing you what direction they're gonna go in. And we know the hatred that they possess for us. They're not all of a sudden gonna stop hating us. They see us rise and they don't want us to rise. This is something they gotta do. So America, as you know, it's gonna like I said, upside down. It ain't gonna be the same. Same opportunities you're looking at now, they ain't gonna be there. Okay, so let's look at it. I'm in 2 Kings. Okay, 2 Kings 35 and 19. So what's going on is Hezekiah is on the throne in Judah, and the Syrian king is coming up to contend with him because of, we know that the Lord host told us that let's see, 2 Kings 35. Okay. Let me go somewhere else, man. 2 Chronicles 32 and 21. Check it. So the story is that this king of Syria is coming up against Israel to fight against him. And he got this massive army that's coming, right? And let me see, 35, 21. Okay, so it says 21. It says, I'm gonna start at 20. It says, after all this, when Josiah had prepared the temple, Necho, king of Egypt, came up to fight against Talmage of Euphrates and Josiah. But he sent ambassadors to him, saying, whatever I do with thee, whatever I do with thee, says, thou king of Judah, I come not against thee this day, but against thy house, wherewith I have war. For God commanded me to make haste, to bear thee from meddling with God, who was with me, that he destroy thee not. Nevertheless, Josiah would not turn his face from him, but disguised himself, and he went to fight with him, and hearkened not unto the words of Necho, from the mouth of God, and came to fight in the valley of Megiddo. And the archer shot at the king Josiah, and the king said to his servants, have me away, for I am sore wounded. Anyway, that's not it, but that's disobedience, and Josiah got killed. But anyway, let me go to 35 and 19, 2 Chronicles. See what's up. That's it. I'm tripping. 35 and 19. Okay, 37, Isaiah 37 and 36. See, I'm hoping you know the story about what happened with the king of Syria. He came up against Hezekiah, and Hezekiah and the people in Jerusalem got afraid. But the Lord told them, "Don't worry about it, because they're not going to harm one soul in Israel." And so when they got there, the king of Syria came and told him, sent messengers. All the Israelites up on the walls of the gates of the city, looking down at him, and he told them that don't trust what in Hezekiah God, because you see what we've done, and you see the army that's out here outside your gate. In the morning, we're gonna feast tonight, but in the morning we're gonna come and tear this place up. Well, that night, the angel of the Lord came amongst the Assyrian army and caused them to turn against each other. A civil war broke out. They started fighting against each other. When the Israelites woke up the next morning, they expected to be overran by the Assyrians, but all of them was laying out there all over the field dead. They killed them. And so take that understanding and go to the Civil War. They had us over here, beating the hell out of us, had us in plantations, and the Most High eased that situation with the Civil War. Because after that, a lot of things changed for us. We did the same thing in Egypt. So what I'm gonna do is read to give you an example of how that works. I'm in Isaiah chapter 17. I think it's something like 20 verses, but it's profound. So it's the oracles concerning Damascus. It says, the burden of Damascus, behold, Damascus is taken away from being a city, and it shall be a ravenous heap. The city of Orah are forsaken. They shall be for flocks. We shall lie down, and none shall make them afraid. The fortress also shall cease from Ephraim, and the kingdom from Damascus, and the remnant of Assyria, they shall be as the glory of the children of Israel, saith the Lord of hosts. And in that day it shall come to pass that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, and the fatness of his flesh shall wax lean. And it shall be as when the harvestman gathered the corn and reapeth the ears with his arm, and it shall be as he that gathered the ears in the valley of Rephaim. Yet gleaming grapes shall be left in it, right? As shaken of an olive tree, 2 or 3 berries in the top of the uttermost part of the bow, 4 or 5 in the utmost fruitful branches thereof, saith the Lord, God of Israel. So what he's talking about is, if you understand what gleaming is, he always told the Israelites, in your vineyards, in your olive trees and all that, cornfields, always leave the corners. Leave the corners, leave the fruit in the corners of all the fields for the poor to come and glean off of it. So we know that Deuteronomy 28, we talked about this last night, how he promised Abraham and Isaac that he's gonna make them like the sands of the sea. He done that. By the time Israel became a nation, we see the nations around them, like the Egyptians and all of them, was trying to reduce them. But he had a promise with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob that he's gonna multiply them. So the more they try to oppress them, the more they multiply. That was the reason why he promised that he was gonna cause them to multiply. So in Deuteronomy 28, he says, I'm gonna rejoice over you to reduce you. Just like I rejoiced over you to multiply you, I'm gonna rejoice over you to reduce you. So that's what he done. That's what we're looking at right here. So you got a plum tree, pear tree, or whatever. People that picked all the plums off of it, but there's still some in there. Some they couldn't reach, like way up at the top. Like he said, the bowl at the top. You can't get them, so some up there, some in certain places where people couldn't get to. You see fruit here and there, all over the places. That's where we at. So he says, I'll read 4 again. In that day it shall come to pass that the glory of Jacob shall be made thin, reduced, and the fatness of his flesh shall be made lean, and it shall be as when the harvestman, here we go, gather the corn, and the reaper the ears with his arm, and it shall be as he hath gathered ears in the valley of Rephaim, yet gleaming grapes shall be left in it, as the shaking of an olive tree, 2 or 3 berries in the top of the upmost bowl, 4 or 5 in the outermost fruitful branches thereof, says the Lord of hosts. That's the remnant. And if you understand anything about that, you don't want to mess with that remnant. All hell gonna break loose. So it says, at that day shall a man look to his maker, and his eyes shall have respect for the Holy One of Israel. That's the ones that's left. Love the Lord. And he shall not look to the altars. He will not work the works of man's hands. Neither shall he respect that which the fingers have made, either the groves or the images. So no idol worship, no JC. That's why you got non-Messianics now. People waking up, they see the idols. They ain't dealing with them. 9, in that day shall his strong cities be as a forsaken bow, and the uttermost branches which they have left because of the children of Israel, and there shall be desolation, because thou hast forsaken the God of thy salvation, and hast not been mindful of the rock of thy strength. Therefore shall thou plant pleasant plants, and set it with the strange slips. In that day, in the day shall thou make thy plant to grow, and in the morning shall thou make the seed to flourish, but the harvest shall be a heap in the day, grief and desperate sorrow. Woe to the multitude, check it out. Woe to the multitude of many people which make noise, like the noise of the seas, and to the rushing of nations that make the rushings like the rushings of a mighty waters. The nations, here you go. The nations shall rush like a rushing of many waters, but the gods shall rebuke them. So, and they shall flee afar off, and shall be chased as the chaff of the mountains before the wind, and like a rolling thing before the whirlwind. We know what the whirlwind is in Ezekiel 31. We know who in it. 14, here we go. Behold, the evening tide troubles, and before the morning, go back to the king of Syria. That evening, he told them, we're going to feast, and we're going to eat and do all this, but in the morning, we're going to tear this place up. So ain't nobody in between the Assyrian army and the Israelites except the Lord of hosts. So he did what he had to do. He caused civil war. They turned in against each other. Same thing right here. And behold, at evening tide, in the evening tide trouble, but before the morning, he is not gone. This is the portion, check it out. This is the portion of them. Who is them? Israel. This is the portion of them that spoiled us, and a lot of them that robbed us. So we know we've been robbed. We know we've been spoiled. So this is our retribution. That he's going to turn them in against each other. That's how we get delivered. Okay? So, like I said before, if you haven't seen the movie, you need to watch it. With like I said, Thinking Like a Hebrew, you need to watch it. So, with that being said, I've been playing on these videos, especially on the Saturday. I've been playing this, the shofar when I come on. So a lot of people think, the shofar is a sign, a warning for people, right? And so I'm thinking that, I'm playing the shofar, warning people, thinking it's just me, right? Let's check this out. Thinking it's just me. I'm warning. Warning people. Look at it. Come to find out. go. Most High been doing it all along. Last
in different parts of the world,
4 or 5 years.
Strange and, in some cases, terrifying moments are being experienced, captured in the sky and in various countries, spanning different years. What we are about to hear in this video is a compilation of various sky sounds heard in Russia, China, the United States, Latin American countries, as well as in Spain, the United Kingdom, Turkey, and several others. Judge for yourself what we'll see next. For several years now, numerous people have been reporting mysterious sounds heard in various cities worldwide. One of them has caused perplexing strangeness and has captured people's attention. These sounds come from the sky and have no clear explanation.
So what's in the sky? You know what I'm saying? So he told us, the nations, the Gentile, the heathen, have no knowledge. So they going all outside, looking under the cars and under rocks, trying to figure out where it's coming from, because they have no knowledge. But an Israelite, wicked Israelite, know exactly what it is. It's a damn trumpet. It's hammer time. Okay? So, like I said before, anybody got any comments or anything they want to talk about on before we leave, vacate the premises? So, like I said, you get an opportunity to watch the movie, because I'm gonna go back in this evening. I had so much stuff I was going to talk about, but I'm gonna break it off into 2 different close out the saga with the rest of it. So that make the people that haven't watched it may get them time to watch it. But yeah, it's Leave the World Behind by the Bombers, the one sponsored it. I guess you can call it the corporation, whatever they have, they sponsored it. And it's all over the internet. They causing all kind of havoc because of the scenes, like the scene I just played. But they have another scene where the guy's talking to his daughter and he's saying that you can't trust the white folks. You know, saying that they're getting ready to go down into this bunker, and then should you leave these the family that's up in the top, white family, should we lead them, or should we expect them to do what's right? And the guy was telling her, no, don't, no. So you can imagine white folks in uproar with the movie, with Obama, with everything about it. And so how it goes off, the way the movie goes off is New York is being bombed. It's a blackout. Okay. So check it out. Like I said, we'll be back this evening, and we'll, if you have some comments or whatever, or something you want to interject, and I'll put my little 2 cents in there, and then we'll close out from there. That way we'll have something on record. Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom everybody, and I'll see y'all this evening for the close Shabbat out. Okay?
Shalom, everybody.
Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.